Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember, subscribe is the vibe, man. Your boy's on the road to 4K humbly. We got 5 killers that confess in court, and honestly, I'm gonna keep it a beam, bro. That's the most gangster shit I ever heard. This is probably the most gangster title I've ever heard in my life. We got 5 killers who said I did it, not him, me. I'm him. Honestly, I'm starting to think that I'm the only person that got the memo for how to stay out of jail guide. The amount of videos, documentaries, and lessons that you've seen other people go through in life when you're like, damn, prison kind of sucked. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only person that got the memo. The way people keep killing mofos every single day, it's like prison isn't even an ultimatum. And I always say the same thing, that other people's mistakes gotta make valuable lessons for you. You gotta be willing to learn from the other mess ups that other people do, just so you could be like, that ain't for me. That was me in prison. When it comes to jail, not for me. Bro, I seen a couple of docs on state pen. Lord of mercy, bro. I won't so much as even get into an argument with the man. Jail is not it. Apparently, these guys are so gangster, they told the judge, yo, look, I did it. So we gonna react. Appreciate y'all. Hit the like button.
This is Scott Nelson, who is facing first-degree murder charges after killing a nanny in Orlando, Florida.
What the nanny do?
You committed the worst possible crime.
Nelson was recently released from a 25-year prison sentence for a bank robbery. After he was let go from his painting job, he decided to plan another robbery. Nelson broke into a house with a knife where a nanny was working.
25 years in jail wasn't enough. 25 years in jail was not enough. My son said I need a do-over.
As a caregiver, he kidnapped her, threw her in the trunk, and drove to a local ATM so he could withdraw cash. Nelson then drove to a remote location and stabbed her to death before ditching her body and the car, where he was later arrested. On trial, Nelson argued that the government was to blame.
You bought zip ties.
Yes, I did.
You bought duct tape.
That'd be correct.
You bought a knife.
I sure did. I bought that material because I had a plan in mind of how I was going to survive being thrown on the street again for what, the 3rd or was it the 4th time by the government? And you know, you kick a dog enough times, they tend to bite back, and really, they just don't care anymore.
Where do you even begin? So you killed the nanny because you had an issue with the government? So you decided to stab a woman that ain't have shit to do with nothing and rob the house that which she was working in? It wasn't even her own. What does that have to do with the government? Nonetheless, listen, I'm not trying to make sense out of a man that's clearly lost his damn mind. But you see how these killers look? You see how this man look? You tell me, if you point him out in a mugshot, does he look like someone that probably, well, I wouldn't call him a mass murderer. But you see how he look?
Nelson continues testifying, showing no emotion, and finally admits to the murder.
Somebody was going to pay for how you've been treated.
That is very accurate.
Who killed Jennifer Fulford?
I did.
He took a stand during the penalty phase, and this is what he had to say.
How has your mental health been affected by your
He looked like he
previous
over this.
incarceration?
I am a homicidal maniac.
In the end, Nelson was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison.
He going right back out? I mean,
this is Daunte
that
Wright,
shit crazy,
who at
bro.
17 years old shot and killed a Pioneer High School student in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wright and 2 others jumped and attacked the
seen this
18-year-old
kid before.
student in an attempt to rob him. While fighting back, he was shot in the head, and his body was left on a path until a maintenance worker found him. The boys were caught soon after and arrested. It was here Wright was supposed to have a pre-trial hearing, but instead, he admitted to the crime in return for a plea deal.
Did you in fact rob Jordan Fleet? Yeah. And did you use a gun to place him in fear in order to take his property? Yeah. And as a result of that armed robbery, what did you do with that gun?
It's so crazy, the mistakes that we make in our youth. One thing I had to learn was just the cognitive way of thinking, and how at such a predominantly young age, especially when it comes to crimes, this is why they charge kids as juveniles and not adults, because they know that their mind, their brain isn't fully developed to be able to understand like the consequences behind their action. They don't know that possibly killing this man, even though you teach them right and wrong, they don't know that possibly killing this man could land them in prison for the rest of their life. And the government kind of babysits these guys, because you'll have a killer, a murderer, someone that will stand in court and say, yup, I did it. And then they'll still sentence him to 4 years because he a kid. Bro, isn't it murder? I didn't know we use age to define murder. Killing someone is killing somebody, right? Because no matter how old the suspect is, the victim just is dead.
Mr. Jordan Fleet.
Shot him.
And where did you shoot him?
Top. Isaiah.
And did you kill him with that shot?
Yes.
Now, at his sentencing, the
What?
victim's
Like, he
family
proud of
delivers
that,
a
bruh.
victim impact statement.
Your Honor, my name is Courtney Clay, and I'm Karen's cousin. She's asked me to read this on her behalf. I've lost my only child, my son, my baby, my
Look at his
friend.
body
More
language.
than that, I've lost laughter and love. I no
Like
longer
zero.
have the hope of having grandchildren.
Zero empathy.
I've lost the enjoyment of holidays and birthdays and of everyday life. This year was supposed to be a year of celebration, of senior pictures with prom and graduation and parties. Instead, it was a nightmare that no parent should ever endure. There will never be an answer good enough to satisfy why you shot my son.
Wright can be seen smirking and seemingly showing
He
no
would have called
remorse.
hands and
Your
feet.
actions have led you to a prison cell, but have also created an empty
Hands and
cell that
feet,
I live in
bruh.
every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my hell. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future.
And now, it's Wright's turn to address the court for his actions.
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
And now the judge threatens to throw out the plea deal.
Watching you sit there, smile, and laugh, and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go.
Couldn't
to
even
trial.
blame him.
And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
After an
Ha!
hour-long recess, the judge
You see the
and
look on his face
prosecution
now?
finally decided to accept the plea deal. He is currently facing a 25 to 52-year prison sentence.
Damn.
This is Jessica Groves,
Not bad.
who along with her husband, Daniel Groves, are both charged with the murder of their own 2-month-old child in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Tell the jury how you killed this baby. It was an accident.
Cap.
Excuse. How did you murder this baby? How did you cause these injuries?
Reportedly, when the father found the child unresponsive, he later testified he didn't alert authorities because his wife threatened to blame him. That's when the child's body was
Oh, nah. Yo, man, we gotta do better, bro. Man said I was afraid to call the cops because I didn't want my wife depending on me. How y'all commit a crime together and you afraid to report it because... Hey, listen, man. Listen, man. This woman I'm with... Yo, I mean, it's not funny, but it is. Like, the circumstance is not funny, obviously, but just his reasoning, like, what are we doing? You more afraid of your wife dry snitching and lying on your ass because he know the system gonna believe her probably more than they're gonna believe him. He ain't trying to take no chances. Wow.
found at the bottom of a 30-foot well inside a milk crate.
That's
wrapped in
crazy.
plastic. Reports found that the child suffered fractures to his skull, arms, ribs, and leg. The mother and father had initially pleaded not guilty, but in a shocking twist, Miss Groves takes full responsibility for the killing of the child.
Jessica, did you and you only cause the death of your son, Dylan Groves?
Yes.
Did Daniel Groves participate in the killing of Dylan?
No.
Was Daniel Groves aware of any of the injuries that you caused that may have led to his death?
No.
Did you hide all injuries that you caused Dylan from your husband?
Yes.
Prosecutors initially
Fucking
claimed
sick.
they were both responsible for the child's death, and now they demand the truth.
How did you murder this baby? How did you cause these injuries? I have sit here and admitted. Answer the question, please. How did you cause these injuries? It was an accident. Not your excuse for what happened. How did you cause these injuries? By dropping him. How did you cause that first 2-inch skull fracture? I don't remember. I've admitted to my guilt. How did you? And I have to live without my children. I'm done talking to you. You are talking to me because you're sitting on the witness stand. Tell them how you caused that injury.
Your camera card don't work here,
Miss Groves
sis.
is unable to remember how the
Back
child
her
was
up.
killed, but she claimed she is the sole reason for the child's murder and acted alone.
My client, Jessica Groves, was and still is a drug addict. There is no doubt about that fact. She,
They ain't got
and
shit to
she
do with
alone,
nothing.
caused the injuries to Dylan Groves, which led to his death. She murdered Dylan Groves.
Groves was found guilty on all 11 counts and was given life in prison with no possibility of parole. Her husband was cleared of aggravated murder, but he was found guilty on the remaining 10 charges and was sentenced to 47 years to life.
What
in
the hell
prison.
did he do?
This is
You just
Antonio
can't
Barba,
win.
who with his best friend Nathan Pop brutally murdered his great-grandmother in an attempted robbery in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin.
We got in, and then I looked to Nate, he nodded, and then I took the first swing.
Okay, and when you say that you took the first swing is with the hand axe?
Yes, sir.
The boys, who were both only 13 at the time, had intended to sneak up at his great-grandmother's and rob her. But upon showing up at the house, they were spotted and invited inside. She was attacked with a hatchet and a hammer, ultimately being struck at least 27 times until she died.
She started heading into the living room, falling.
And as she was falling, did you strike her again?
I hit one more time as she was falling.
At any point, did you not use the hand axe during this incident?
Right after that, Nate took it and he used it, the blade side of it.
You said that he took off the sweater. By that, do you mean?
You could tell about his haircut, he a killer. It's just something about, yo, I don't know why. These guys always fit some type of stereo, pale skinned, just socially awkward. Look at his face, bro. How do you wake up one day and just say, you know what? I'm gonna kill my great-grandmother today. Ugh. It just makes no sense.
In the sweater that you had given him?
Yes.
Why did he do that?
I think because it was getting in the way.
Getting in the way of what?
Him swinging.
They then stole $155 in cash and some jewelry before stealing the car and ditching it at a local bowling alley, hoping to
You could have asked your grandma for $150. You could have asked her to borrow her car. These are things that you don't have to spend the rest of your life in jail for. Am I missing something?
Frame someone else for the crime. A few days later, both boys were arrested.
These haircuts.
Now in court, Barbeau takes the stand to testify.
We were gonna try to scare her to get money and then use force if needed.
And when you say use force if needed, was there a discussion about what type of force you might use?
An attack, I guess to kill.
Barbeau pleaded no contest to first-degree intentional homicide as part of a plea deal, where he was sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole in 36 years, where he would then be 50 years old. In his final statement, his lawyer had to finish his thoughts.
I know I don't show my emotions much. I myself am not sure why, but that doesn't mean I don't.
I took away someone's mother, grandma, sister, friend, when I had no right to do so.
Pop was sentenced to life in prison as well, but with a chance of parole when he's 45 years old.
Why? He looked like he's trying to shoot something.
This is Michelle Blair, who is convicted of murdering 2 of her own children in Detroit, Michigan.
Everybody want to know? Yes, I did kill her!
Blair would reportedly beat and starve her 4 children. Eventually, she found out her 9-year-old son was abusing her youngest son, and that's when Blair reported.
Starve and beat her 4 children. Honestly, I need to know the man that was willing to put his penis into this. I need to know the man that made this investment. You know, out of all women on this planet, you so happen to impregnate a monster fully capable of starving her own kids. So I guess she felt like she was the only one that needed to eat. I don't discriminate, bro, but this is wild. This is wild. Edge is gone. Her mindset gone. Children gone. And it's like, what are we doing? Starving our kids?
Lee tortured her son for weeks as punishment, resulting in the child's death. Then Blair hid his body in the home freezer. 9 months later, Blair allegedly found out that her 13-year-old daughter was also abusing her youngest son. That's when she began starving her daughter and beating her until she died. Blair kept this a secret for 3 years, telling people that the kids were homeschooled or always out of the house. Eventually, police entered the house due to an eviction notice, where they found the children's bodies in the freezer, and Blair was arrested immediately, where she would shockingly confess to the judge.
You meant to kill her.
I definitely meant to kill her.
It wasn't an accident.
No, not at all. If I had a chance to do it again, I would.
Blair pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder.
I've confessed 3 times. I'm not going to stop saying what I did.
These are very serious charges with very serious consequences. If you were to plead guilty to a first-degree murder charge, that is life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I know this. I'm not going to come back like, oh, I didn't understand my rights. I'm not a coward.
And she was later sentenced to life in prison.
You're therefore sentenced
She
to the
gangster.
Department of Corrections for the rest of your life without the possibility.
I'll tell you that much.
Meaning, of course, that you will never get out.
Blair is currently serving her sentence at the Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Michigan.
Yo, bro, it's just, this is what I need the new generation to understand, bro. This woman is still incarcerated in whatever jail she's in, whatever state she's in, for those same crimes. So she's probably still alive. She knowingly and willingly admitted to murder, and she knew life sentence was the consequences, and she signed up for it. That's gangster. So just remember, next time you commit your crimes in the facility they send you, you're gonna find women like this. Women that, like, they ain't new to this. They true to this. You know what I mean? I wanted to be here. That's who you're gonna find. Don't think they're gonna put you in a room full of people your age. They're gonna put you in a cell with a whole bunch of cellmates facing all types of murderers and violent charges. Don't think they're just gonna put you, like, you in here for a stolen vehicle, so they're gonna put you in a cell with a bunch of guys that jack cars. All these people crazy. I don't care what anybody tell me, all the people crazy. I want nothing to do with none of them, son. Like, starving your kids, out here putting your kid in a cart and throwing them in the ocean. It's like, what are we doing, bruv? What are we doing? This 13-year-old killing his great-grandmother? Thankfully, it wasn't me. Thankfully, it wasn't me, and it will never be me because, like I said, other people's mistakes make valuable lessons. I got the memo. I got the stay out of jail memo when I was born, bro. I don't know about these folks, but you'll never find me in a jumpsuit. I'm gone. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe button for more content, and I'm gonna holler at you guys next video. Like, these people. Mamba out, bro.